Left of the box. Here is an important note from Ben Mulrooney, son of Brian Mulrooney, who is, I think he's an MPP, or he was at one time, I think. Or is it? No, I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting Mulrooney's mixed up with Harris's. Mike Harris Jr. is who I was thinking of when I saw Ben Mulrooney. Yeah, that makes complete logical sense, but hosted the Ben Mulrooney show, missed the show, whatever. Let's see what he has to say. Anything intelligent?
Mark Carney soft. Hey everybody, Ben Mulrooney here. All right, yesterday on The Daily Show, Mark Carney soft launched his leadership race. And look, everybody in this country seems to agree that the best way to move forward and negotiate with Donald Trump is for our leader, whoever that is, to have a strong mandate. So what does it say that the front runner to replace Justin Trudeau has never been, and if he becomes prime minister, will have never been elected so much as dog catcher? We're going to talk about that on the show today.
We don't elect dog catchers in Canada, so it would make sense he's never been elected as one. Here in Canada, you can be the leader of a federal provincial party without actually holding a seat in the House. Now, that happened not too long ago with Jagmeet Singh. When he ran to become leader of the NDP, he was not a sitting MP at the time. So what generally happens is if somebody wins who doesn't have a seat, then they're parachuted into a safe riding if they're not in a safe riding themselves. So Jagmeet was parachuted into BC, into a safe riding. So like basically very coincidentally, somebody will step down from their role. So there will be a by-election if need be. And so then they become an MP. Now, it's problematic to be a leader without being an MP. So even though he was leader of the NDP, before he was an MP, he wasn't allowed to ask questions. Basically, he could go and sit in the gallery and watch the proceedings, and then afterwards go to the scrum and talk to the reporters. But when it comes to things like question period or challenging people on the floor or bringing legislation forward and all that sort of stuff, they can't actually participate, which really kind of limits their roles because, again, it's kind of in the name. Prime Minister should be a minister. So they get the same votes as any other MP would. So it is possible, technically speaking, for somebody to become prime minister without having a seat in the House. Hasn't happened as far as I know. But then there would like immediately be a by-election and a safe riding. But chances are, if there's an election, like let's say Mark Carney, right now, if there's an election, he's most likely going to be running for a seat. They're going to figure out which seat he's running for in this upcoming election. And if he can't win it, then chances are he won't hold on to the leadership of the party, because if you can't win the riding you're running for, you're not really suitable then to continue on being prime minister or having the leadership role. So it is possible, but I would imagine even though Mark Carney has not been a official politician, like held a seat before, in this upcoming election, he will be running in a riding. But here's Mark Carney, somebody that we're going to be talking about a little bit right now, because he went on The Daily Show a little while ago. And again, this should be fair use. I've seen other channels use it. I should be able to fairly use it as well. So Mark Carney has this pinned to his Twitter account with 11K likes on it. This video of him on The Daily Show has received well over 1 million views the last time I checked. It's probably even more, way more, like 2 million now. Let's see.
What are they making up there of the overtures and sort of trolling to Canada about being a part of the United States?
Well, I mean, the bottom line is not going to happen. Due respect.
That
The overture. I mean,
because you don't want
well,
to be with.
we're we're proud. We find you very attractive.
Yes, I watched the whole interview, and there was a lot of double entendre jokes and stuff. It was cute, sure. You know, it's the Daily Show. I like Jon Stewart. But yeah, it was very softball interview. It was very performative, very, you know, Jon Stewart's a comedian, and Mark Carney presented himself well enough for that platform, and just saying, deeply grateful for your support for this campaign. We've surpassed 125,000 in donations in just 24 hours. Thank you. Like I said, Sandbox, he got $125,000 in 24 hours. I think we should be able to reach that 350 in 6 days. Like, come on, folks. Pick up some slack. If this rich banker with his connection with all of his billionaire buddies can get $125,000 in just 24 hours, chances are it's just from 3 people. I should be able to get $350 by, Wednesday or whatever. Now, Americans watching this, just know you probably can't donate, but also it's not that scary, that number. It's only like 242,000 Americans. So it's not that scary. It's doable, is what I'm saying. It's totally doable. And here he is. How long is this little speech? It's a minute. There's a reason why I'm focusing on him, but let's just do this.
Our economy. If you remember one thing from what I say today, remember this. I am going to be completely focused on getting our economy back on track.
Because he's a banker and he knows this, just like, you know, Donald Trump is a good businessman and he knows how to do business. And he knows how to fix the economy because he's a banker, and bankers had nothing to do with the economy failing.
And if you wonder why I can succeed where others have failed or will fall short,
It's because you have a whole lot of money. And it's like a lot of people have failed because they don't have the money that he has.
consider this. I've helped manage multiple crises, and I've helped save 2 economies. I know how business works, and I know how to make it work for you. I've worked around the world, but I'm grounded in what I learned right here in Edmonton. To be responsible, to be fair, to stay humble.
I haven't watched this before. Just the idea that he's standing up there. It's like, I just raised $125,000 in 24 hours. Aren't I humble? I've saved 2 economies. I'm so humble. Yes, you're about as humble as Drac, you know, I totally messed that up, from Guardians of the Galaxy. Just completely humble there, humble. Yeah. Anyone who runs for leadership of a federal party, so humble. Mm-hmm.
To work together and to never, ever give up.
I liked his performance, and that's exactly what that was. Better on The Daily Show. Yeah, and this was his official announcement. I'm in. Canada flag. So let's see. So some people, you know, after this little performance, and again, that's exactly what this was a performance. He did a really good job in his performance. So David Dole from the Rational National went to watch this, and he's like, I'm going in with a clear mind, and I think Carney made a good impression. Less typical politician than I expected. Definitely more personable than Polyev or Trudeau. So this is David Dole's video on it.
Polyev seems like a villain in a Karate Kid movie. Like there's something very, very off-putting.
Jon Stewart on The Daily Show clowned Canadian Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre and talked Canadian politics with potentially the next leader of the Liberal Party, Mark Carney. So, I want to get into this because this was, I got to say, a stunning interview for me. I was not expecting to come out of this liking Mark Carney as much as I did, but I'm going to play for you a few clips, and I think if you go into this with a clear mind, you're going to see the potential here in Mark Carney. So,
I'm going to toss this into the sandbox so that people can watch this. I do recommend all the time to watch David Dole videos. So, good impression there. What about this one? Oh, Steve Boots.
The Canadian political world is abuzz. Still not officially declared leadership candidate Mark Carney went on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. And honestly, it changed the race way more than I expected. I, along with a lot of others, wasn't overly interested in Carney, but never underestimate the power of good media coaching. Carney went on Stewart and he was generally pretty charming. He was very stuck on dating references and he went back to that well a lot, but otherwise he did pretty well. But I do think it's worth noting, it wasn't exactly hard to do well here. It was about as friendly an interview as they come. The interview literally opened with an extended introduction from Jon Stewart about how Carney saved the Canadian economy in 2008. Stewart.
Okay, so I'm going to toss this into the sandbox as well. So again, still very positive review of Mark Carney's performance on The Daily Show. And so even here's Rachel Gilmore saying, mea culpa, folks. I gotta say, I'm in fact detecting some Riz from Mark Carney. I thought he was Rizless nerd, but it appears I wasn't familiar with his game. Or is Jon Stewart's Riz so strong it rubbed off? Thoughts? And there's been lots and lots of comments, like people were really impressed by Mark Carney. This is Andrew Perez. He's a political strategist. Yeah. The nasty, brutish attacks from Pierre Poilievre's conservatives this morning on social media reacting to Mark Carney's superb appearance on The Daily Show last night are utterly revealing. The guy is hands down better than their guy. And even they know it. Wow. I don't know. Maybe I've been thinking about Mark Carney all wrong. Let's see. Is there more people that are like this? Yeah, here, Laura Babcock. I have heard the very same thing from people across Canada. They want solutions to a serious person to get Canada through Trump years, someone who respects others, Canada, and themselves. This is a crisis, and partisanship is pointless. Oh, and she's responding to Bill Rice here, who said, Mark Carney is the leadership candidate that transcends party lines. Liberals, NDP, Conservatives, Bloc, and Greens can all rally behind him. With something to offer everyone, his vision for Canada is set to be groundbreaking. Stay tuned. Wow. Oh, he looks trustworthy. I'm inclined to support him. He seems like a decent fellow. Okay. Let's see. Here's Frank Dominic saying, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe Carney has a shot at beating Pierre or at least holding him to a minority. Just last news live stream, he was suggesting Doug Ford for leadership of the Liberal Party. So this is definitely improvement. Mark Carney is that. He is that impressive? Maybe I have this all wrong. Maybe Mark Carney is the guy. He had that one good performance on The Daily Show. And you know what? I think it's working. I'm getting Carney fever here. I think this is going to be a whole new thing, that he's the one. He's going to beat Pierre Poilievre. This is such a relief. And just Just a second. I'm just going to mute my mic for just a moment. Just bear with me. He's not the guy. He's not the guy. No. Mm-mm. You see, what is happening right now is what happened in the United States. Like, the parallels, the pattern couldn't be more blatant. It is shocking how similar it is. And this is where it gets to the title of my live stream, where it says, Mark Carney is Canada's Kamala Harris. Because everyone remember when Kamala got into the race and everyone was like, oh, finally, somebody who can potentially beat Trump, who's normal, who speaks normal, who isn't, fuck, I forget his name already. President Biden. Oh, brain fart there. Yeah, it's like, wow, somebody who isn't Joe Biden, somebody who can actually, have articulate sentences and comes across warm and authentic and all that sort of stuff. And it's just, huge relief. And that's what's happening right now in Canada is, we have Mark Carney, who did a good performance with Jon Stewart. And he came across as very personable and just like such a breath of fresh air compared to the constant bullshit that is spewing from, Pierre Poilievre's mouth. Because, you have him and his style and how he spoke when he was sitting down with Jordan Peterson and stuff. This Daily Show interview most likely going to surpass the views on that video, which already received millions of views. But it's just like, people are now like, oh no, okay, I think this Mark Carney guy, he can do it. But here's the thing, you remember people saying, Kamala is a cop? Well, Mark is a banker. Okay? He is... He was appointed by a conservative government for a role. He is not the guy. He is not the guy. It is just this one momentary thought of like hope that it won't be Pierre Poilievre. But we can't fall for this trap. I don't want Pierre Poilievre to be the next prime minister, but Mark Carney is not the one to do it because he is absolutely an insider. Not having a seat in a house, not being elected into government doesn't mean you're not an insider. You're still an insider if you do like all the insider things that governments like from rich people. He is a banker. Okay? He is not for the people. He is just, a little mild substitute. It's just a breath of fresh air of this fantastical hope that we have of some normalcy during this election, which is not going to happen. This election cycle, especially with Elon Musk on Twitter promoting Pierre Poilievre, is going to be bonkers. And Mark Carney is not the person that will be able to go up against Pierre Poilievre. He will be outed completely as a banker shill. And Pierre Poilievre will be the one to do it despite him being a millionaire himself. Despite him living off of the taxpayers his entire fucking life being a career politician. But Pierre Poilievre, he has the ability to do that. Mark Carney does not. It's such a lot of bullshit. Now, to be fair to Rachel, to Steve, to David, watch their whole videos on it. And their full commentary on it. They're impressed by how personable and how well he did in his performance, but they know. And they think, okay, well, maybe with his charisma and his riz, maybe he does stand a chance. And I would like to say, no, he doesn't. But, David, Steve, Rachel, they're all still very critical of him, which, just to be fair to them, no shade on them for me using their clips this way. It's just, it was for my bit. But even then, it's still just the fact that people can, because even they did to some extent be like, oh, maybe he has a chance. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. This is just the Kamala Harris effect going on right now when she first got into the race. And so there's all this big hype around him. But, the instant he gets to be the leader of the party, if he does, the excitement is going to go from here and just dive like one of those birds that dive into the water to get fish. One of those really, cool looking kingfisher birds. Is it a kingfisher? That's what he's going to do. Only he's not going to catch a fish. He's just going to poke his beak into the bottom of the riverbed, into the rocks, and drown. Like, that's what's going to happen. And just again, to demonstrate where Mark Carney's support is coming from, Sam Hirsch here is just pointing out that Mark Carney definitely not an insider, or at least being endorsed by one of the richest men in the world worth over $100 billion. Gee, I wonder where Mark Carney got that $125,000. I wonder if there's a disclosure on that. I'd be very curious to see how many people donated towards that. And here's Mike Bloomberg saying, excited to see Mark Carney running for Canadian Prime Minister. His deep understanding of people, markets, and public service, combined with his integrity, has proven leadership, has made a meaningful impact on globally. Mark is a leader who pairs vision with action, has a strong grasp of economic challenges families, communities faces today. Yeah, I'm sure he has a strong grasp of the economic challenges families and communities face today. I'm sure he completely understands what the average Canadian is going through right now. The average family that, is $500 away from living on the streets. I'm sure he knows exactly what the challenges for those folks are. I wish him every success on this important new journey. So let's hear a little bit from him and his announcement. And this is from CPAC. We don't need to read the quote because they always just say it right in there.
So if you remember one thing from what I say today, remember this. I am going to be completely focused on getting our economy back on track.
He's already starting with the slogans.
And if you wonder why I can succeed where others have failed or will fall short.
That's why. It's the money. It's the money.
Consider this. I've helped manage multiple crises, and I've helped save 2 economies. I know how business works, and I know how to make it work for you.
Okay, I think we just
I've worked
watched
around the
a lot
world,
of
but I'm
this
grounded in
his little speech thing. But there's this other clip here. And so somebody just pointing this out. He's quoting him. So David Doyne tweeted this out, but I'm just, I'm curious about the quip. Let's hear what Mark Carney has to say.
Just as Pierre Poilievre's soundbites won't deliver for Canadians, we can't achieve our full potential with the ideas of the far left.
Yeah, he thinks the Liberal Party went way too far left. I don't know if he's a millionaire, just a millionaire, or a billionaire, or 100 millionaire. But yeah, the Liberal Party, way too far left with, the some dental care and the some pharmacare. Child care, so far left. Weed being legalized. Yeah, that's a left-wing thing. Sure, why not? Uh-huh. Sanitary products available in all washrooms regardless of gender on the door. Mm-hmm. Yep, that is woke left nonsense that was just such a problem. All these programs, these socialized programs. Oh, why do we need them? Like, come on. Can't people just be a banker economist too and be rich? Oh, I'm going to have to serve those people? Really? The far left is the problem.
They too often see government as the solution to every problem.
That's the fucking point! That's the fucking point of the government! They're supposed to be putting out solutions for the problems. With reflexes that spend and subsidize but just treat symptoms. Well, maybe if you fix the fucking problem. The government, yeah. Mm-hmm.
With a reflex to spend and subsidize that just treats the symptoms of the problems, but doesn't cure the disease.
It's men like him who are the disease.
We can't redistribute what we don't have. And we can't support the vulnerable.
Do you know how you can have more? Taxing the rich.
Vulnerable in our society, or defend this great country if we have a weak economy. And I'm here to build the strongest economy for all Canadians. Just as
You see, this is what actual left-wing policies lead to. The Serf's just quote tweeting this out. Wild how actual social democratic policies and speaking to the working class while standing up for women, LGBTQ plus people is enormously popular as opposed to radical centrism. And David Adler had tweeted this out. Yesterday, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum delivered her 100-day address to a packed, I don't know how to say that. We will not return to neoliberal model. We will not return to the regime of the privileges and corruption. We say for the good of all, first the poor. Look at that crowd. Those far left policies that Mark Carney is so afraid of, actually wildly popular. Look at that. Look at that.
Y a nosotros nos toca consolidar, sumar y avanzar con el segundo piso, con la raíz bien firme y el corazón.
She's already wildly popular down in Mexico, partly because of these radical leftist, far left policies, but also her stance against Donald Trump. Oh, can we not?
Por delante.
We need someone like Claudia Sheinbaum to step up here. And that would most likely happen in the NDP party. And right now, nobody in the NDP party comes even close to what her rhetoric and presentation is. But here's some of the problems that we're going to be running into this election. So, Julie S. Lalonde just saying, if this is true, no wonder this country is overrun by conspiracy theorists, because holy shit, this is unhinged behavior. And so Sean Amato, who is a journalist, news hunter, proud Indigenous Canadian, ballpark traveler, story tip sent to that email address. But he says, so there was a Rolls-Royce limo at Mark Carney's campaign launch in Edmonton yesterday, but nobody was in it when it arrived. Carney's campaign says someone hired it to make him look bad. We saw Mark leave his rehearsal earlier in running shoes and a regular car. I took this video in case Carney or someone else popped out of it, but nobody did. The driver confirmed it was empty, said he was there to pick someone up. We were inside covering the event, but we didn't see anyone get into the limo. That's some bullshit. And stunts like that are probably going to be a norm this election. Scary, scary stuff. Like, just the amount of manipulation, the amount of optics and all. It's like, so infuriating. So infuriating that this is a thing. Oh, well. Anti-case tarot, interim PMs don't tend to last, though. And that's very true. Because, like, that's the thing. If he wins the leadership race before, it will be before the next election, he will be prime minister. But he won't have a seat in the House. So when the next election happens, he'll have to run for a seat. But, if the Liberals lose sorely during that, and if he loses, then he won't be prime minister anymore, but also he won't be in politics anymore. Because, he'd have to step down as leader of the race, which is, just a waste of $350,000 if you ask me. So, he would be prime minister for a few months without ever being elected in. But that's how, this Westminster parliamentary system works. And that's how we had Kim Campbell for prime minister, although she had a seat. She was already elected in the party, but that's how we got Kim Campbell as prime minister for a few months, was when Brian Mulroney stepped down. They had the leadership race, she won, and then promptly fell off the glass cliff.